What happens when a college wrestler tries out Jiu Jitsu for the very first time? So today is actually my first day of Jiu Jitsu, going to Jiu Jitsu practice. So shout out to RQ for basically inviting me to go. This is at Freeform Jiu Jitsu in Milwaukee. Let me turn on the light here. So from coming from college wrestling, D2 college wrestling at the University of Wisconsin Parkside, now that journey is over. Very sad. But life moves on. You gotta decide, what are the next steps? What do you want to do with your life? And I was thinking, maybe I'll just try out Jiu Jitsu for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I know very, very minuscule about what a practice entails, any specific moves. I've wrestled, so how different is it than Jiu Jitsu? I guess we're gonna find out. The goal remains the same, to win, to beat your opponent, but of course there's no submissions, nothing like that in wrestling, and that's the main point of Jiu Jitsu, to get someone to tap out. So definitely a little bit more of a dangerous sport. A lot of people were saying oh, go in UFC, go hit up MMA. I'm like, guys, let me just at least try out Jiu-Jitsu first, but I don't think I would ever go in an MMA fight personally. Maybe. But I'm bringing you guys along for the journey. So with that being said, let's get going. Now, my first task was actually to get a mouth guard, because apparently you have to use it at Jiu-Jitsu gyms because you don't want to, cut your teeth on your lip. I got the nice little trash talker from Dick's, so shout out to Dick's for that. Then it was off to Milwaukee. This was actually about a half-hour drive from my college where I'm at, and we got to Freeform Jiu Jitsu. Now, this place is super cool because it's right kind of near basically the river there, or should I say lake? What am I talking about? It's a nice little strip, so it was definitely super dope. This was near the end of practice, but this is my first official go. Basically what we did was, there wasn't necessarily a warm-up. We just went straight to defending from this position where he has a leg in. Now, how this is different from, I guess, the way that I train from wrestling is that you can't really go to your back, but this is the biggest thing of today, was basically learning that I can still attack while from my back. This is Coach Matt helping out, trying to get my elbow through towards my opponent, which is RQ there. So RQ, you guys might know, he actually runs WI Wrestle. So if everyone in Wisconsin wrestling, you basically know RQ. He's doing an amazing job with wrestling media and showcasing it in Wisconsin. And then here's me also, trying to choke him out there a little bit, and we pass basically this position into Z guard, and then you can basically just keep flowing through that Russian tie drag, which it actually felt super effective. And eventually in some live goes, you'll see that this actually played a little factor. But yeah, you basically just pass it by, and then you want that leg on the bottom in. That's the leg, if you are taking his back, that's most in control. Of course, double boots in would be nice, but it is super I guess interesting that this year specifically, with this past year of wrestling, I did a lot of leg riding, and now of course going to Jiu-Jitsu, that's actually going to play a big role as well. So I'm kind of excited to seeing how this kind of plays out, especially because my leg riding is getting a lot better. And for this being my first day Jiu-Jitsu and stuff, it just felt so similar to wrestling. The way that we could just flow around and do anything. I will say it's very, very nice, focusing on the technique wise, and not necessarily burning myself out, getting so tired that wrestling brings. Now, having a plan for training is super helpful to me, and I feel the same way about my weightlifting workouts. Now, as a beginner in Jiu-Jitsu, and if I go on Instagram and try to replicate a move and just try to only do that as my training, I wouldn't really get anywhere. There's no process. There's an actual no plan set in place. And the thing is, it's the same thing with your workouts. If you're jumping from random TikToks to other just YouTube video fads, you're not training, you're guessing. It's never the best to just go through the motions. That's why with Ladder, it's an actual workout plan. It feels like you have a coach right there with you, and it's a better alternative to your current fitness routine. Because Ladder is an expert strength training plan, like I said, they're not just challenges or influencer workouts. They're the real deal. I generally hate when apps ask for a credit card to start a trial, or worse, make you pay before you even see what you're buying. Ladder doesn't do any of this. After you take the quiz and start a trial, you'll get a full week of workouts 100% free. And Ladder doesn't ask you for any sort of payment info until after your free trial, so you have nothing to lose. Get stronger today by downloading Ladder and starting your free 7-day trial, no credit card required. You can also get $10 off your first month of Ladder. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Definitely like this position, we drilled for, an hour, 10 minutes of just like trying to figure it out. And honestly, that was super, super beneficial. And I just hope that next time I go in, maybe we can work on some attacking, because this was basically, the Miyagi-Do way. We need some like Cobra Kai No Mercy in here to, start getting guys to tap. And then here's our Q trying some things. I just kept flowing with him. So I was feeling good, and I was really, really excited until we got to the live. Here, I think he's going to choke me out here. I don't know what any chokes are called, guys. I'm not going to lie here. And everyone yep, there's me tapping. I think that was like the first time I tapped, but we were just in drilling. So RQ, I'm not counting that, but maybe he'll get one later this practice. Here, you can see me. I'm 2-on-1 tilting him right here. Unfortunately, no points in jiu-jitsu, but heck, if it were wrestling, I love to see that. This reminds me of a Greco position. Sometimes guys can just pick a guy up and toss him over his back. In jiu-jitsu, though, it makes no sense. So that was just like something I was also maybe frustrated about. Like, I had no offense. Like, I'm sitting here trying to roll on ankles, trying to figure out what I'm doing. I see it all the time, like if I'm on Instagram or other videos of guys doing it. But when you're actually in that position, dude, I have no idea how to score. This was very interesting. And protecting my neck from here was super new and super big too, where it's like, wow, I didn't realize how unprotected in wrestling I am. Like, let's say if you're in an actual fight against someone in jiu-jitsu, because I mean, if they get a nice submission lock on you, like, you're done. So, but now we're into the part where we're basically flowing through this thing called a Z guard. Here's me trying to sit back and do like a leg lock. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think that's what makes it super fun, especially for my first time. And I'm sure it's going to be super fun, but throughout the next coming months and years, here's me pulling guard. Now, this is actually like basically live. I will say it's like sparring live, but it's kind of hard to, I don't know. I didn't really know how to feel it, but here's me taking down RQ. He's doing some ninja stuff, balancing on his head. But basically just rolling in these positions, I felt so, I would say, like, not gassed compared to wrestling. Because, you can basically lay there, top, bottom, and do things. It was a little different wrestling without shoes on, because, man, I always think I'm going to stub my toe in something. Thankfully, nothing like that happened today. But, man, in jiu-jitsu, especially for these first days, the guys that I'm basically competing against, like, these guys are pretty big. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty big right now. As you can see, I can still fork over some weight. But, yeah, these guys were... RQ's... I don't know how much RQ's weighing. Right here, I think I'm about 160. I'm going to say RQ's maybe mid 70s, maybe 75, who knows. Here's him. He's doing like how did he get that lat drop when I was on top? That was ridiculous. And from here, he's actually going to work in a leg triangle. I thought I could do something similar for what I just did. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. This is going to be it for me as I gave him a tap. So that was like my first, I guess, live go, maybe matches, if you could say. And now here's me getting again on a nice single. Wrestling, I mean, plays such a huge factor, especially my takedowns. I think once I get more knowledge about when to use wrestling and when to use jiu-jitsu in these goes, I think that's when I'll be pretty dangerous. Here's me trying to guillotine, trying to suck back. I can never really get in, I guess, the best position to lock anything though. But still, I'm just sitting here trying to roll and expose my back. And here's me doing some rolls. I think he's trying an anaconda choke or something. Now I'm in north-south. I think that's what they call it. But then we did a couple goes. I think we did 3 goes of 5 minutes. It could have been 3 minutes, but I'll tell you what. These goes felt so fast. Here's me doing a nice ankle pick from a front headlock. I think that move was so nice. You're actually going to see a nice... I don't even know what to call it, a combination coming up. Here's me trying to sit back again. I think this leg lock, if I can get it down to put that torque on that knee, I think that might be one of my favorite moves, because it just seems so fluid with me. Of course, I don't know anything to grab, but it just felt, oh yeah, here's me getting to get tapped out with I think a Kimura. I think that's what you call it. But here's a nice little piece, because it's a nice single standing up. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm feeling so strong being up at this weight compared to wrestling 141. I just feel like I don't know, I'm more aware. I can use more strength. It's just something that I don't really see when I'm cutting weight, and I think we all can agree on that. But definitely now when I'm trying out something new, this was embarrassing. That was the worst go ever. I just did not protect my neck, and maybe I was getting a little tired toward the end here. Here's RQ basically hitting a super duck on me, and I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. Here's oh yeah, and this was gonna be the end of the go here, and now we switched partners. So this guy was pretty big compared to me, but I knew I could like take him down and whatnot. But unfortunately, little did I know that he got... So this is an anaconda choke. Initially, I thought this was called a darce, and I thought I was fine here, but man, I do not know how to defend once he gets it on there, and he's going to be in that position. He's going to put me away pretty quick. For the rest of the go, though, like, you know, I felt pretty good on my feet, trying out arm drags. Usually I don't really do arm drags. Felt powerful on my snap down. I think maybe something in jiu-jitsu that maybe you learn so much in wrestling, it's just neutral. I mean, I think that's clear as day. So that really helped me. Here's me kind of in that same position as we were drilling earlier, because I wanted to get in these same positions so that I can do them in live. But this guy was pretty big, and he dragged me on by. I'm like, dang, this guy's definitely coming here once or twice. And now from this position, I think I'm actually going to tap out here. I'm not too sure, but when there's so much weight, so much pressure, I could not breathe, and he got me there. Now this next go, he started to pull guard. I just kind of rushed him here. But yeah, it was definitely like a very, very interesting experience, and that was our end of the go here. And now I'm going to be sparring. This is basically after practice is done here when some guys stick around with Ben Hicks. So if you guys know Ben, he was actually, he started as heavyweight for us at Parkside. It was my sophomore year of college. And now, of course, he's been doing jiu-jitsu for like pretty long too, I think, while he was still in college too. So but he's killing it, and it was just fun to kind of roll with him, and someone so, I guess, experienced within wrestling and jiu-jitsu as well. I think he could have submit me at like any point here. I'm sure he's super dangerous, but it was really fun to roll and get into these weird positions, and just kind of you know, see the difference and you know, get the feel of jiu-jitsu. First practice done at Freeform Jiu-Jitsu. Wow, that was very fun. I can see how that can get addicting. It was a great time, but yeah, I got destroyed. So day one trying out jiu-jitsu. First of all, you can see I'm at a new place. I've currently been moving all week, and this practice was even, you know, about a week and a half ago. So clearly a little bit has happened since then, but I've just been so busy. Like, let me show you. This is basically the content room. Finally, this isn't a room where I have my dang bed on the floor. But I'll be relating this on three things: similarity, funness, and purpose. Similarity, I would say it's a 7 out of 10 compared to wrestling. The scoring of like how to pass guard, or you know, how much legs in and then you get points, it wasn't really told in that practice because, you know, it wasn't anyone else's like first day. That was like my first ever day. So I think it would be beneficial to go like watch some like YouTube stuff about like, okay, what is actual scoring in jiu-jitsu, so I can kind of have a better idea. But like going across your back and literally being able to have an offense when you're on your back is something in wrestling that is like, that's just not a thing. So that was very new to me, of like, you know, turning towards my back and, you know, not feeling threatened also when I'm on my back. I think that was a new thing. But honestly, like very similar. I can definitely see how it translates like very, very well. But now on to funness. I'm gonna go an 8.9 out of this one. But the reason I rate it pretty high was at least because it was my first one. I had no idea what to expect. Everything was new. It was a brand new experience. So I think that basically made me, you know, feel how fun it was, like doing something new for the first time again. Like imagine wrestling for the first time. I couldn't even tell you what happened my first wrestling practice. I just remember getting yelled at for running around in the room. And then for purpose, this almost makes me think of like the opportunities like also involved, and how I actually feel like, hey, is this really the next step for you competing wise, you know, after college wrestling's done? And that one's a little tough because I feel like I'm still getting away from it. Like I still go to, you know, the wrestling practices and train just because it's like all I know. And it's hard to really make, let me just completely adopt this new lifestyle and stuff, when it's probably going to take, you know, a little bit longer. And, you know, people train sometimes like for years before their first competition. And for this one, I'm going to give it an 8.4. I'd say, because the only reason I rate it an 8.4 and not maybe a 9 or a 10 is that there are other still like competition possibilities within like there's beach wrestling. Okay, oh, maybe I do want to take Greco more serious, or or something, or whatever, freestyle too, given that. I think this remains the same though, is that humans are competitive in nature, and then my competition throughout my years has been, through combat. But I think the next step is to really get signed up to the gym and pay the fee, because that was my first free class. Froyo. So ultimately, I will be back. I will be there training. I do want to go to also other places. I'm not too sure if there's many other places nearby, but I have been hit up like a ton by other jiu-jitsu guys like across the country being like, hey, let's train. Oh, hey, I'm an MMA. Let's train sometimes, stuff like this. So there's so many kind of opportunities flowing, and I think I didn't get that with wrestling, but heck, I got that with like jiu-jitsu even more. So which is super cool and crazy, and I'm really interested to seeing how that culture plays out, and I'm excited to be involved. I think that's the bottom line. I am excited for this opportunity. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and right now I'm grateful for not cutting weight, even though this is really healthy. It's yogurt, and then I got the Rise mint chip ice cream, which this is goated. This whole thing is like 60 grams of protein and less than 500 calories. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking along with the journey. We have a lot more content on the way. Once I get all moved in here, the whole setup, cover that dang fire alarm, then we're going to be golden. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all next video.
Let me know if you're on skate. Rolling with a gang. Totally, man, you shade. Told it with a gang.